Nothing like a smooth transition into the midday. Be sure to tune to The Shift Monday to Friday at 12:30 p.m. with Joinae Gibson on Glory 93.9 FM. The freshest wave of glory to hit the Bahamas.
Well, it's an amazing day here at Glory 93.9 FM. It's 12:30, so you know exactly what that means. You are tuned in and, of course, locked and loaded on the shift with yours truly. And I'm always willing to bet my bottom dollar that there is nothing like a smooth transition into the midday. Thank you for all those tuned in via Glory 93.9 FM, all those on Facebook, YouTube, and of course our worldwide listeners. Now I feel like my camera still ain't really straight, y'all. I think I made it worse. I'm going to fix it in a few, but I want to read this scripture into your hearing. And I've mentioned it before here on the shift, right? But I want to introduce maybe a different perspective. And it's taken from Isaiah 43:19. And it says, "Behold," which means to look, "I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." I want to quickly address, we are in a new week. It's Monday, right? And every time we start off on our Mondays, it is a sign that we are embarking on something new, which is a new beginning. Hey, Dion, how you doing? New beginnings represent fresh starts and opportunities for growth expansion, allowing individuals to redefine themselves, right? And of course, their future. New beginnings usually offer a chance to learn from the past, recreate or, plan something for your future, right? Embracing new beginnings can lead to personal development and growth. However, new beginnings are extremely painful at times because you are fearful of the outcome. You don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how it's going to be. You don't know if you know enough. You don't know if you know too much. You don't know anything about this new journey, about this new beginning, right? When we look at the concept of new beginnings, right, it is a fresh start, like I mentioned, an opportunity for growth. Let's really touch the fresh start. A fresh start is more of a clean slate, right? It is a chance to leave behind past traumas, past experiences that may not have been, very helpful, old patterns, bad habits, but it's a chance to move forward with a sense of direction. I want you today, if you are locked and loaded on Glory 93.9 FM, and Joinae is on, the shift is on, but you are embarking on something new. Whether it's a new job, whether it's a new marriage, whether it's you may just have had a baby or some twins, triplets even. You may have started a new business venture. You may have started something that was outside of your comfort zone. You may have said, I want to do some content creation. I want to document certain things. Or you may say, I'm on this journey to writing this book, writing this song. But you are so fearful of this new beginning and what it means to you. You are so fearful for the criticism and, the attacks that, making this new move, or striving for this new beginning may attract. And I say to you today, Walk in confidence. The Bible says in Isaiah, and I read it already, Isaiah 43 and verse 19, behold, I do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. It means all of a sudden. You have no reason to have any reservation about the gift that God has placed on the inside of you. We are looking for, gifts in everyone, and we can, maximize the potential of everyone else around us, and you can grow that other man's company, but you can't grow yours. You can grow something else, or you can help your friend. Or you ever realize that anytime that your friend, your coworker, anyone that you meet, you could meet the most random person in the food store, and you can pull out encouragement from the sky. You don't have to think about it. You can motivate without any reservation. But when it comes to you, you can't find it. You don't know what to do. You get discombobulated, all of these things. I am saying to you today that the gift inside of you is worth cultivating. And just as Monday is the beginning of a work week for some, and a brand new week, so to speak, we are looking for you to walk in your new beginning. It makes no sense to have all of these great ideas, great plans, great thoughts for the future, and afraid of that fresh start. We talked about this earlier on the shift, and I constantly reiterated, but redefining oneself or rebranding. You are never too young. You're never too old, too far gone, made so many mistakes that you cannot redefine who you are. All it takes is one conscious decision. You may say you want to redefine the way you look on the exterior. You want to lose weight. You want to have clear skin. You want to grow your hair. You want to grow your nails, your natural nails. All of these things can be signs of new beginnings. Even if you want to take up a new hobby, you want to learn a new instrument. You want to learn a new craft. You want to, be multifaceted. All of these examples that I'm giving, it is your indication that your new beginning is here and is now. No more hold up. No more hindrance, no more blockage, no more excuses. You've been given a brand new day with a brand new opportunity to walk in the gifting, in the calling, in the assignment that God has given you in the earth realm. That's it, and that's all. I know it seems easier said than done, right? Where you say, okay, don't be afraid. But of course, you can be afraid. But when I say don't be afraid, I'm saying don't allow your fear to cripple you from moving forward. Don't allow your fear to sabotage the opportunity. Don't allow your self-limiting beliefs cause you to miss out on a defining moment. I mean, there is no better way of saying that. And I want to read the scripture into your hearing one more time. And I want you to hold on to this throughout this Monday. Isaiah 43 and 19. Behold, I will do. This is God speaking. I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness. And I feel that in that very line, I will even make a way in the wilderness. Even in places where you don't see a way, God will make a way. Even where you don't see the resources coming, God will make a way. Even when you feel like you're stuck, in your creativity, or, you've plateaued, or you've reached your limit, God says, I will even make a way in that. I will teach you something in that. I will create an avenue in that. And rivers in the desert, in dry places. It seems desert, dry, parched, no pasture. And even in that dry area, even in that dry relationship, be it friendship, be it marital, be it on your job, whatever relationship, right? I will make a river in a place that is dry. That is your encouragement today. And I know it was a mouthful, but I need you to get what you are really walking in. Yes, you may see the number 8. Yes, you may know that it means new beginning, but I want you to focus on you and what that means to you today. Like I said, that was a mouthful, but I am ready for you today. Yes, I came for you, the shifter of your family, the shifter of the kingdom. You are locked and loaded on Glory 93.9 FM. And I'm so excited for today's topic. You are in your car. You may be watching on Facebook, YouTube. Hey, Dion, I saw you there earlier. You may be rewatching this broadcast, or you may be new here to the shift. And I want to say welcome, 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 welcome. And I pray that today's topic bless you in some way, shape, or form. Now, all of the fundamentals have been taken care of, but we have just a few more, right? If you know anyone in need of a shift, if you know anyone in need of a great conversation, someone very opinionated, someone that is excited about their new beginning, I want you to tag them in the comments. Let them know we are locked and loaded. We are shifting today, and you don't want them to miss out on this grandiose opportunity, right? Okay. I encourage you, spread the word. Let everyone know. If you're driving, pull to the side a little bit and then WhatsApp them, or do the hands-free where you tell Siri to call XYZ, whoever. Tell Siri, call, because the shift is on. Also, if you haven't already, you can follow myself and Glory 93.9 FM on all social media platforms. That is Glory 93.9 FM, powered by life. And of course, yours truly, Joinae Gibson. Okay, let's go. Today, for your benefit, the call and text lines are open. They're in the caption on your screen and, of course, in the comment section. The call line today is 242-827-2543. And, of course, the text line is 242-817-2544. Y'all, listen. It took me 90 million years to remember these numbers over my head, and I promise you, I was not looking at the screen for those. Oh my, let me do it again. Today, the call and text lines are open. They're in the caption and on your screen. The call line today is 242. The minute I say, I know it, I forget. 242-827-2543. And of course, the text line is 242-817-2544. I got it locked and loaded, y'all. My God. Look at a new beginning. That was a new beginning for me. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Right? Okay, so today's topic, it should be in your caption. But for those listening via Glory 93.9 FM, today's topic is, I want you to write it down. If you have to, just make a note, because this is going to be so instrumental in your next move, right? Today's topic is protection is strategic. Protection is strategic. And like the preachers would say, if I would use for a subtopic, the subtopic would be guard your heart. Main topic, protection is strategic. Subtopic or subtitle, guard your heart. Okay. Being strategic, and I want you to, of course, we have to set a foundation, right? Being strategic means thinking and acting with foresight. considering the long-term implications of decisions and actions, and aligning those decisions with broader goals and objectives. It involves understanding, hear me well, understanding the bigger picture. And of course, anticipating potential outcomes and making choices that are not only effective in the short term, but also in the future. When we consider, and I want you to remember very vividly, last week we spoke about being reactive versus being responsive. And this is a part of being strategic. I talked about being responsive is a strategy. It is being strategic, methodical, thinking about the bigger picture and considering even, I don't think it was the same show, but another show, I talked about delayed gratification, where you, hey Joey, how you doing? Where you plan or you delay or withhold that right now satisfaction for a future satisfaction, delayed gratification. So last week we spoke about being reactive versus being responsive, and reactive is on impulse. It is a knee-jerk reaction, right? We talked about that. And as we transition into today's topic, protection is strategic, guard your heart. When I think about protection being strategic, and of course, I did my research on this, and there were so many other opinions. And when I really considered protection being strategic, I want to add to that protection is a form of warfare, right? Anytime we go into battle physically, there is an armor. We protect ourselves. You have bulletproof vests, you have helmets, you have particular shoes. You cannot go to war in slippers. You cannot go to war in your Louis Vuittons. You cannot go with your slingback. You cannot go with your kitten heels. But there is a gear of protection when you go out. So I would say that protection being strategic is a form of warfare, right? When protection is strategic, it means the actions taken to safeguard something, right? It is not a reactive measure, but it is a deliberate, calculated effort to achieve a specific outcome, often within a field or in a particular context, and responsive, right? I have some examples here of protection being strategic, and I mentioned it earlier, where you have military strategy. Now, in warfare, protecting key locations, so this is a military strategy now, this is facts. There are key locations, supply lines, or resources in a particular place that are not exposed due to planning for the larger picture. You don't want to give the enemy your location or, where you get your source from. Fine. Business strategy. Businesses often implement data protection as a strategic initiative, right? They have it, right? If you are a humanitarian, you have strategies designed to safeguard vulnerable people or vulnerable populations. Hey, Destin, right? Because it is a strategic part of the overall mission, because you are a humanitarian, right? You have intellectual property protection, right? Where you want to protect or trademark or copyright your ideas, copyright your phrases, copyright certain things. And you have all of these different levels of protection, and each description that I read just now was planned and deliberate. It is not a last minute decision. It is something that is well thought out. In essence, what I'm saying is strategic protection is proactive. It is a proactive approach to safeguard one's thoughts, your assets, your information in light of a bigger picture. And I really wanted to take my time with this because I find that we protect and we are strategic about protecting everything except our heart. We are strategic about protecting everything, everyone, anything else that we consider valuable except our heart. I read a post and I absolutely love this, and this is by Dottie Reynolds, and she says, "What you want to protect always tells the truth about who or what you're trying or willing to preserve." And I really want to dig a little deeper into that because your impulse, your need to protect someone else while putting yourself in a line of fire is a direct or clear indication that you would rather use yourself as a human shield and not guard your heart in light of protecting someone else. Okay. Take, for example, a mother that may be being abused. That could be physically or verbally abused. And they would take that abuse, endure that abuse, take that line of fire. But if you come near their children or their child, they jump in and they are the shield. All right. And I'm not saying that that's wrong because, of course, we want to protect our children. Or you may be in a friend relationship and you are constantly the one that is getting the jabs at the heart, getting, the insults, taking on the blunt of any difficult situation because you want to protect or preserve this next person. And it is tricky because, yes, while we want to help and while we want to preserve the people around us, it is at our own detriment. And I talked about, and I think it was sometime last week, self-deprecation, where you don't mind being the living sacrifice for people except for Jesus. All right, that's a whole nother story, but you get the picture. This topic is so broad, and I was intentional, strategic about talking about this with you because I find it so strange. I find it so strange, and maybe you can help me out. Of course, today, the call and the text lines are open. They're in the caption and on your screen, and of course, in the comment section. I want to ask you a question. Why do we, and why do we put ourselves in a line of fire, right? Just to preserve someone else. Even if it may kill us, even if it may damage us, even if it may have long-term repercussions. Why do we do that? And I want to hear your thoughts. Please help me out. The text line is 242-817-2544. And of course, the call line is 242-827-2543. For those tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, today we're talking about protection, being strategic, and guard your heart. I want to know, why do you put yourself in the line of fire because you call yourself protecting someone else, and it's really causing you in the long run? I want to hear your opinions on that, right? I'll wait for that in a few. But I think about the amount of, hey Paige, I think about the amount of strategies, the amount of plans and things that we put in place to protect our home, to protect our jobs, to protect, on your job, you protecting your stance in the company. Everything you type in an email, you're documenting everything. Everything is written. At your home, you have, the thing on the doorbell, the ring camera, ring doorbell. You have the monitoring system on your cell phone, that any motion is detected, that notification comes to your phone. As a matter of fact, and let's take it there, you are protecting your hair when you put in that quick weave, but when they put on the ball cap and you put all the things on it, you are protecting your hair, right? When you travel, based on the cost of your travel, you doing some kind of travel protection. God forbid you buy a electronic device offline. Y'all know the site I'm talking about. And then the minute you go to click checkout or add to cart or pay for this order, place this order, the thing pops up and says, do you want to spend an extra $29.99 for 1 year of protection for this device? If anything goes wrong with it, you can send it back to us and we will automatically send you a new one. And we are protecting everything except our heart. We are protecting everything except our minds. We refuse to place boundaries on the things, the people, the thoughts that we allow to come into our hearts and minds. Imagine having a notification on your phone anytime someone show up on your porch, but all the notifications turn off in your spirit, and you refuse to monitor that. Remember, we talked about trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, relying on your discernment, relying on the Holy Ghost. And all of these red flags are going up saying, listen, this is not an opportunity for you to protect anyone. Protect your heart, protect yourself. And it can seem so self-centered. It can seem so selfish. But what good is it that you protect everyone else except you? Everything else except you. When Dottie Reynolds talked about that in her post about what we seek to protect, I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said, what you are protecting, we show that that's what you really value more than yourself. And it sounds good when we say it to people like, man, listen, I would lay down my life for you. I would, if they have to get you, they got to go through me. And it sounds so good until you are by yourself, until you are in your own thoughts and can't see the city for the smoke. Protection is a spiritual warfare. It is strategic. You don't go into battle in the physical or the spiritual without your armor on. I'm just introducing a different perspective. And of course, I am open to your opinions, your thoughts, your comments. Please, the text and call line are open in the caption and on your screen. Today, for those tuned in via Glory 93.9 FM, if you are just coming on your lunch break and you want to catch up in on the conversation, today the topic is protection is strategic. Guard your heart. Why do we self-sacrifice in the name of being the one to protect? Dottie Reynolds said, and I have to keep going back to it because Dottie says, and this is not my words, Dottie says, what you want to protect always tells the truth about who or what you're trying to preserve. And you're not really trying to preserve you. If you are honest with yourself, you are listening today and you are depleted because you are trying to protect everyone, protect everything except you and your thoughts. Okay. She goes on to say, protection is never passive. You are either fortifying what you want more of or abandoning what you claim to value. When you let yourself, and I want y'all to hear me good, when you let yourself overwork without rest, you're protecting productivity and not peace. So you can be doing good but not doing good. You can be doing something good and not be good. You can seem like you are flourishing on the outside, but internally you are decaying, you are depleted, you are without strength on the inside. And then we wonder why people crash out. We wonder why people suddenly want to give up because we are so concerned with protecting the productivity, protecting getting the job done, protecting how this looks, protecting this image, but you are not protecting your peace. You are not protecting your thoughts. When you, ladies, I want you to hear me good. When you tolerate disrespect to keep peace, you are protecting appearances and not your dignity. I'll say it again, and I have it written down. When you tolerate disrespect, and you know what you like to say, man, I don't want to stir the pot. I just trying to keep people. Okay, just leave them, let them be. I'm not gonna mention it. I don't want to have that conversation. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I just want to keep the peace. And what I'll do is I'll just work on me and work on not, okay, watch it out, work on not being so, not to make this person so irritated. I watched a Facebook, how Facebook have the reels, right? And it was of this movie and this lady was talking about, I'm sorry, the video started off by this guy hitting a lady in her mouth. She went to the hospital. Her sister is a nurse. And she was like, okay, well, he did this to you, etc., etc. La la, ray, ray. Boom. And the person, the victim, said, well, I mean, if I am not so irritating to him, it was my fault. I caused this. I irritated him. I made him angry, so that's why he reacted this way to me. And the sister looking like, no, you are tolerating and accepting all of this disrespect on so many levels, not just emotionally, but physically, mentally. You are tolerating that to keep peace. Because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, because you don't want to make anyone angry, because you are afraid to stand on your own. When you tolerate disrespect to keep the peace, you are protecting appearances. Appearances, not your dignity. When you silence yourself, minimize yourself, dumb down yourself, show up as less of yourself, oh God, to stay comfortable, you are protecting your survival, not your growth. And I talked about it in the beginning with, new beginnings. And, new beginnings sounds so good, when we say it, oh, behold, I do a new thing. And we got all the song from Grace Generation, behold, I do a new thing. And you got the whole song. You ready, run the track, you ready. But when it comes time for you to be strategic about your protection, no, you're not about it. You will literally silence. You will be at tables where they're asking you your opinion. But because you are so used to self-deprecating, because you are so used to playing small, because you are so concerned about how you look and how you are perceived, because you are such a people pleaser, you will stay comfortable, you will dumb down yourself, and you will say something like, I don't want to say anything. I don't have any opinions. You are concerned about your survival, not about your growth. And it's dangerous. When you make up in your mind, thank you, Destin. When you make up in your mind, and I really want to hear from you, because I want you to consider a time where you put yourself in a line of fire in light of keeping the peace, in light of, just not ruffling any feathers. And it cost you. Setting boundaries when you consider being strategic. Setting boundaries is one of the ways that you can do that. Now, I don't want you to take this, from a different perspective, but I want you to really consider, when you set your boundary, you are setting your protection. I'm willing to go, but I'm only going this far with you. If you continue to disrespect me, if you continue to undermine me, if you continue to do X, Y, and Z, I will have to move. See, you don't want to make that kind of decision, because as far as you're concerned, and what's dangerous too? When people become so entwined, I think that's the right word, like, they're connected to your life in a way that they feel, or you feel, that their presence causes your advancement and their absence causes you to not advance. And it's tricky, because there are persons that are in your life to help you. I'm not even negating that fact. But I want you to think about you not setting boundaries. And I think we talked about it when we talked about the malicious mentor, and we gave the examples about, being that young, vibrant new voice on your job, being that, new person on the job, and you have someone there who is malicious, but, they have the information that you need, right? But when you start to think that is your source, that is the person that you need to suck up to, and if you were to leave, and if this person were to leave, then you would be no more. That is a tricky place to be in, because it shows that you haven't set a boundary or any ground rules for even your self-dignity, your self-worth. Self-preservation is vital in guarding your heart. Self-preservation, and here goes that word again, is the protection of oneself from harm or death, especially regarded as a basic instinct. It is innate. It's a part of us. If you see someone coming to slap you, you will automatically try. Self-preservation. And it's not only a basic instinct in human beings, but even in animals. Okay, I have a Facebook. I hope I could see all of this. There we go. Destin Pratt says, I'll share my experience. I was helping a particular high school with a pageant, and although they were doing absolutely amazing, the advisor tried to undermine and control me, and I didn't want to say anything because of the kids and how successful they were, and that caused me, in the long run, to run emotionally and professionally, okay, because I almost flipped on competition day. Definitely learned not to do that anymore. I want to read that again because there's so much in this, right? Destin Pratt says, I'll share my experience. I was helping a particular high school with a pageant, and although they were doing absolutely amazing, their advisor tried to undermine and control me, and I didn't want to say anything. Look at it here, right? I did not want to say anything because of the kids. So I want to, and how successful they were. I want to go back to this quote by Dottie Reynolds, where she says, what you want to protect, always tell the truth about who or what you're trying to preserve. And when you constantly take yourself out of the equation, because that's what you love to do, take yourself out of the equation and say, you know something, I don't want to. This is not about how I feel. This is not about what I want. This is not about what's being done to me. But I see the success that my being in the line of fire is causing, and I don't want to do that. And we talked about, strategy being about the long term, not about the current circumstance, not about what it seems like in the moment, not about the success that is in the moment, but long term. So he goes on to say, and it cost him in the long run, not just emotionally, but professionally. How many of you listening today, and I want you to really think about it, on that job, in that business, in that relationship, you tolerated that mistreatment. You had yourself in that line of fire. You refused to guard your heart in that friendship, in that relationship. You refused to guard everything about you, even emotionally. And when the last straw to break the camel back hit you, it cost, and it costs you so much, and this may seem odd, but it makes you look crazy. It makes you look crazy because it seems like, okay, this little thing set you off. This little thing caused you to lash out in this way, and instead of getting a response from you, we get a reaction. Instead of getting, your strategic, well thought out response, we get your emotional reaction. Because you want to take the blows. Man, I remember having this conversation with someone, and they were really just describing how they, Destin says, right, look real unprofessional and rude. Everyone looking at you crazy because what you freaking out for? What happened? But you don't want to deal with that inner people pleaser because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, where you can just be strategic about your protection. If you were in, I want to say, like an office setting, right? If you were in some kind of, where they document everything, you would have sent an email. You would have sit down at your desk. Even as a manager, you would sit down at your desk. I want to document that I spoke to Sister Sally on her conduct while I was working with the kids. See, you protection is strategic. You have to take the emotion out of it and effectively plan. Because I promise you, the person that is provoking you, the person that is undermining you, the person that is being rude to you will not look rude when you crash out. Monique Brown say, because you cut a movie, whole movie you cut. Whole movie. You are the lead and supporting actress. You got the soundtrack, you got everything because you done cut the movie. Protection is strategic. Like I was saying, I remember having a conversation with someone, and this was actually a male, and he said, I realized that, and this is him talking about himself, and it really baffled me, because he said, I realized that although I have a high tolerance for pain, it doesn't mean that I need to endure painful situations. And he was not talking about physically. He said, although I have a high tolerance, see, because you have a high tolerance of, you may be good at ignoring, good at, like throwing it off, or like, making a joke out of it, or making light of it, because you have that, thing about you, you believe that a day won't come when you are frustrated. A day won't come when you will crash out. And it can literally harm you in the long run. Self-preservation, right? Guard your heart. And I want you to think about all of this. And we have touched, from the professional standpoint, but guarding your heart is a concept that is found in Proverbs 4:23, suggesting that the heart is the source of life and actions. Therefore, it needs to be carefully and strategically protected. Proverbs 4:23 emphasizes the importance of nurturing a pure and stronger inner self to guide your outward behavior and choices when you guard your heart. It being the source of life, that everything you do flows from the heart. It implies that, and I want you to hear me good, it implies that the heart is the wellspring of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. It is the wellspring of our actions and thoughts and feelings. So when you guard your heart, that looks like setting boundaries. That looks like understanding your self-worth. That looks like not self-deprecating. That looks like being the living sacrifice for Jesus, but nothing else. You have become so used to being the one they run over, the one they trample over, because you don't want to ruffle any feathers. Boy, y'all hitting me with these paragraphs today. Holy Ghost. Joey says, okay. Joey says, this issue is becoming increasingly rampant in the church, right? Some leaders cultivate an unhealthy level of control, making individuals feel as though they cannot thrive or move forward without their constant presence. When someone chooses to step away or take a break, it is often met with intimidation or spiritual manipulation, subtly implying that the leader is the source of their success or survival. This is a dangerous overreach where man begins to take the place of God in people's lives. And okay, Joey, I don't see the rest of, if you could put that in a different if you could put that in a different, oh, thank you, I have it here. He says this is a dangerous overreach where man begins to take the place of God in people's lives, and it must be addressed with urgency and discernment. But this is another day's conversation before they throw rocks at me. Wow. Joey, you are absolutely right. And I touched it slightly earlier. And what makes it more scary for individuals, and I talked about it, I feel like it was last week, and I really don't want to lie, right? But I feel like it was last week where I talked about trusting your gut and trusting your instincts. And there are some things that okay, and let's take it even outside of church. I want you to even think about the people that feel like their attachment to you, they play many gods in your life, right? Their attachment to you outside of leadership. Let's say this can be a best friend, this can be a co-worker, this can be anyone. This could even be a spouse, where they feel so attached to you, or that their attachment to you is the reason that you are surviving or thriving. And without them, and believe it or not, someone listening today, you may feel that way about someone, where you're saying, well, I mean, if you lose me, that's it for you. You finish. Why, Joey? I'm coming back at that. I'm coming back at that. Our time has almost come and gone, and that really is a whole nother show in itself, and a very interesting perspective, and it is on the rise. You're absolutely right. Right? The importance of guarding your heart and all of these things. You see it around you all the time. The importance of guarding your heart is to control your actions. Same thing with Joey saying. If you don't guard your heart, your actions will go against you. So you could be saying the right thing, or you could be not the right thing. You could be saying the truth, but because your heart is not guarded, or because you haven't taken your protection of the heart seriously, it comes off in a different way. I want to read this to you before we go. I always quoting Dottie, right? But Dottie made a post. Oh, man. Dottie made a post about covering your head, right? And I wanna get this for you. She gave an example that covering your head is a form of energetic protection, right? She talked about religious persons, nuns cover their head, monks cover their head, rabbis, even in the Black church. She mentions, we have hats on deck, right? And she challenges that it goes beyond the aesthetic of looking nice or having this covering or having a fancy hat, but it is a strategic method of protection. And I want to leave you with this today, that covering your head, covering your head, putting on a hat, is not just an aesthetic, but it is a method of spiritual warfare. I keep saying the same things over and over again because I want you to get it, right? I want to read to you what she says. When your head is uncovered, it is exposed. Not just to the weather, not just to the draft. You know, the old people say, cover your mole, put on a tam, right? Not just covering your head from dust or, the elements outside, but protecting or covering your head from other person's energies, their projections, and even their chaos. Destin, could it be that in that very situation, your head was uncovered? Your thoughts were uncovered. Your mind was uncovered. So someone's feelings, their energy, their projections, their actions can have direct influence on what you think, what you feel, how you react, because you are uncovered. Covering your crown, ladies, sends a message that this space is mine. You're not allowed to infiltrate. You're not allowed to project your thoughts and your feelings on me. We talked about projection, y'all know. The shifters know. No projection. Don't. Right? It is more than the aesthetic of protecting or putting on a hat because you don't want to get a cold. See, you would put, if it raining, you have your umbrella for protection. But when you get into that nasty conversation, that nasty meeting, that one that was sent to destroy your self-esteem, your self-worth, your confidence, you don't go in with protection. You are not covering your mind. You're not guarding your thoughts. You're not careful of how you allow people to pull from your spirit, pull your energy, pull the essence of who you are. That's why you are leaving depleted. That's why you are not creating the way you should. That's why you are lashing out that way. That's why you look crazy. Dottie says, it's not just an aesthetic. We like how it look. Listen, when y'all see the flyer for the shift, I have a hat on for that. Hat. Protection. For strategic video. Strategic about the mind being covered. So today, if you don't remember anything from this show, two things. I invite you to rewatch, and I want to implore you to remember protection is strategic. Protection of the mind, protection of the body, protection of the soul and spirit. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. You know exactly what you see in. You know exactly what you feel in. I am so sorry to be the bearer of bad news today, but our time has come and gone. I want you to join me tomorrow. Every Monday through Friday, same time, same place. We have to continue this conversation, and I want you to bring your thoughts, bring your opinions, and let's move on with this. Let's find some solutions, and one of them can be setting your boundary and being more strategic with your protection. Don't just put on a raincoat or have an umbrella or put on a hat because the weather is different outside, but do those things spiritually as well. Today, if you are just tuning in, we are wrapping up today's show. But of course, like I said, not your only opportunity to have this conversation. Every Monday through Friday, same time, same place. I want to say a special thank you for all those tuned in via Glory 93.9 FM, our worldwide listeners. There are times that you would message and reach out to me, and I am so appreciative of your support, of just even your thoughts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, to the shifters on Facebook, YouTube, thank you. Even those that text, thank you so much for your involvement in all of our shows. Until tomorrow, keep it locked and always loaded.
I know he's able to see you through. Watch him turn every situation around, and it will work out for your good. I know it will work out for your good. Just watch God move. Watch God move. Watch God move. Watch God move.